Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Money and Markets Week Ahead, what to watch for on Wall Street. I'm Matt Clark with moneyandmarkets.com, also your host for the Bull and the Bear podcast. We've got a lot to get over because it's going to be a really busy last week of July coming up, so let's get ready for that. The Fed will be probably the big news of the week, as the Federal Open Market Committee will kick off a two-day meeting following an announcement on interest rates. The announcement is scheduled for 2 o'clock on Wednesday, followed by a news conference by Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Remember, back in June, the committee decided to keep its target range interest rates for federal funds at between 0% and 0.25%. That's not likely to change much because the committee has said they're going to keep rates where they are until they're confident the economy is moving in the right direction after the coronavirus pandemic. As a whole, economic data has by and large been relatively positive, but that data has yet to take the full account of the coronavirus pandemic into consideration. Next week, the New York Fed will release its weekly economic index. Last week, it showed a reversal, indicating economic data was turning negative after recovering from April and May's coronavirus downturn. The latest reading of the index was a minus 6.86 GDP growth, setting a pace for minus 7% growth in the third quarter and a year-over-year decline. Other economic indicators have shown a decline in activity. The St. Louis Fed's Coincidence Employment Index has turned negative, along with a home-based study of employees returning to work at small and medium-sized businesses. This kind of paints an overall kind of questionable picture in terms of an economic recovery as things are starting to show a little weaker. But keep in mind, now we're starting to see more and more data encompassing the full coronavirus pandemic, whereas a lot of the data we've seen before now has been just kind of a partial look at the coronavirus. It doesn't exist, but I like to call it the hope index. Investors are still holding out hope that the government will pump in more stimulus money into the economy and in the way of individual and business support. But economists understand that stimulus money alone is not going to bring back the economy. Only stopping the coronavirus pandemic is going to kick off that recovery and get it in full swing the way investors are hoping for. Right now, in terms of where stimulus stands, the $600 per week supplemental unemployment benefit will come to an end on July 31st. House Democrats, Senate Republicans, and the White House are now hard-pressed to pass another stimulus package in the next week before Congress goes on their summer recess. However, all sides haven't quite yet agreed on exactly what that package looks like. The House has passed a $3 trillion deal, and Senate Republicans and the White House are looking at more $1 trillion, whether that includes more support for unemployment benefits or another round of stimulus checks. Still kind of up in the air right now. Tentative answers to those questions are yes, but they could take a much different look than the $2.2 trillion stimulus that Congress passed in March. Another full earnings week coming up this week. Big spotlight's going to be on Thursday. Several big companies are going to be releasing their previous quarterly earnings, such as Alphabet.com, Alphabet Inc. Which runs Google.com. Amazon Inc., Apple Inc., Ford Motor Company, and Gilead Sciences Incorporated are all scheduled to release earnings on Thursday after the market closes. Facebook, NASDAQ FB, will release its quarterly earnings after the market closes on Wednesday. We do have a full list of some of the key earnings. You can catch that in the story down below this in the show notes. Coming up, another data dump is on the way. Each and every week, a lot of data is released in terms of various data points, whether it be GDP, whether it be inflation, employment. It ranges kind of the gamut in terms of what comes out. But I like to kind of characterize and let people know what data investors are expecting during the week. Coming up this week, the Case-Shiller National Home Price Index will be coming out on Tuesday. That index measures the change in value of the U.S. residential housing market in May. The year-over-year change was 4.7% to the positive. The National Consumer Confidence Index for July will also be released on Tuesday, with the index reading 98.1 in June. Again, not really taking the full impact of the coronavirus into account. This will probably be a little bit more accurate reading in terms of what we've seen. These are all kind of reverse or backward-looking numbers, but they do kind of paint a picture, and investors, Wall Street, do pay attention to these numbers and trade accordingly. Second quarter GDP will also come out next week on Thursday. The first quarter showed a contraction of 5%. Expectations are for a 33% contraction in Q2. That's pretty big. But remember, the economy is not the stock market, so it's why we're seeing the stock market not necessarily behaving as if we're in a recession. Thursday will also feature weekly jobless claims reports, another key indicator of economic performance. And like I said, we've got a full slate of earnings. You can see all those kind of in the story below. We'll have all those. Just go to moneymarkets.com, find the story, and you'll see all that are preparing. I can give you kind of an overview. We've got, for example, 3M Company. They'll be reporting Tuesday before the market opens. McDonald's Corp, fast food chain, they're Tuesday before the market opens. Advanced Micro Devices, Tuesday after the market closes. eBay and Starbucks, as well as Visa, will all be Tuesday after the market closes on Wednesday before the market opens. It's kind of a big day too. Boeing, General Electric, and General Motors will all be releasing their quarterly earnings. We've already talked about what comes up Thursday after the market closes. On Friday, you've got Caterpillar, Colgate-Palmolive, and ExxonMobil Corp. Are some of the big ones to pay attention to. That's a look at your money and markets week ahead. Certainly glad you've decided to watch this video. Make sure you click on subscribe, and you can check out all of our videos that we have on our YouTube channel. The Bull and the Bear podcast comes out every Wednesday and Friday. You can check that out as well. And for anything updated, any types of recommendations, tips, things like that, make sure you log on to moneyandmarkets.com. So until next week, this is Matt Clark, host of The Bull and the Bear, and also with moneyandmarkets.com. And until then, safe trading.